All right, so today we're going to do something a little different. We're not just exploring some old philosophy, we're trying to decode a blueprint of reality itself. It's thousands of years old, but somehow it feels more important now than ever. Let's get into it.
I mean, really think about this for a second. What if everything you experience, from the massive scale of the cosmos, right down to the thoughts rattling around in your head, what if none of it is just a chaotic accident?
Imagine there's this set of universal principles that were understood long before our modern sciences, long before many of the world's religions. Teachings that whisper about a deep, fundamental order to existence, a set of rules that governs everything.
And here's the real kicker. This isn't about faith. You don't have to believe in this stuff. It's about observation. It's a framework for seeing the patterns that are already playing out all around you, and more importantly, inside you. And once you see them, well, your world is never quite the same. So where on earth did this incredible wisdom come from? We have to go way back to what's known as Hermetic philosophy. It's this ancient tradition that grew out of Egypt and Greece, and it's all attributed to this legendary, almost mythical figure known as Hermes Trismegistus.
This quote from a foundational text called the Kybalion just nails it. These laws were never meant to be dogma. They're a quiet invitation, only open to those who are actually ready to understand them, to have that inner light bulb moment where you realize how your own consciousness is the architect of your entire life.
Okay, so the 7 principles are kind of broken down into 2 parts. We're going to start with the first 3. Think of these as the foundational pillars. They describe the very fabric of existence itself. This is the bedrock that everything else is built on. All right, principle number 1. This one is the big one. It's probably the most mind-bending of them all, but it is the one that changes absolutely everything. It's a simple, powerful statement: all is mind.
So, what does that even mean?
It suggests that the universe, at its core, isn't made of physical stuff. It's mental. It's consciousness. Your reality is literally a mental creation, almost like a vivid dream happening inside a universal mind. And you know, this isn't as out there as it sounds anymore. Quantum physics tells us about the observer effect, that the act of observing something literally changes it. Psychology proves every day that our perceptions create our experience. The lesson here is absolutely transformative. If you want to change your outer world, you have to start with your inner world. The outside has no choice but to follow. Okay, on to principle 2. You've probably heard this one before. It's super famous. It's like the master key to understanding how everything is connected.
This is all about patterns. The idea that the same designs repeat themselves on every single level of reality. The way planets orbit a sun looks an awful lot like how electrons orbit a nucleus, right? But here's where it gets really personal. As within, so without. It means your outer world, your relationships, your job, your health, it's all just a direct mirror of what's going on inside you. Life isn't judging you, it's reflecting you. So if you don't like what you see in the mirror, you don't argue with the reflection. You got to turn inward and work on the source.
And that brings us right to the 3rd principle, which is all about the dynamic, energetic nature of reality. It's a simple but profound truth. The universe is never static.
Everything, from a solid rock to a fleeting thought, is just energy vibrating at a certain frequency. Love has a frequency. Fear has a frequency. And this is the real secret of attraction. It's not about what you want with your mind, it's about what you are with your whole being, your dominant vibration. You attract things that are on the same frequency as you. To change your life, you have to consciously work on raising your vibration.
Okay, so if those first 3 laws describe what reality is, these next 4, well, these are the tools. This is the user's manual. This is how you learn to work with these laws and go from being a passenger in your life to being the one in the driver's seat.
This is the principle of polarity. Now, at first glance, this seems obvious, right? But the secret hidden inside this one is a total game changer for overcoming conflict.
This visual explains it perfectly. We tend to think in opposites, like a light switch. It's either on or off, love or hate, courage or fear. But Hermetic wisdom says no, it's not a switch, it's a dial. Think about it. Hot and cold aren't actually two separate things. They're just different degrees of the same thing, temperature. The same goes for love and hate. They're just two ends of the same emotional spectrum. And that is the key to mastery. You don't fight hate. You learn to grab that dial and consciously turn it up towards love. You transmute the energy.
Next up, Principle 5, which teaches us about the natural, unavoidable cycles of life. You see it everywhere. Tides come in, tides go out. Empires rise, they fall. Our own moods and energy levels swing up and down. Life is an ocean, not a straight highway. And so much of our suffering comes from trying to fight this natural rhythm. We cling to the high tides and we dread the low ones. The secret is to become aware of the rhythm. When you know the pendulum is always swinging, you don't get so thrown off balance. You learn to stay centered and ride the waves. Okay, Principle 6. Nothing happens by chance. This one is huge. It's a direct challenge to the idea of luck, randomness, or victimhood. Every single thing that happens has a cause, whether you can see it or not.
So you really have a fundamental choice to make. You can be the pawn on the chessboard, just getting moved around by external forces, constantly reacting to what life throws at you. That's victim mode. Or you can step up and become the player. You can understand that you are the cause of the effects in your life. And the moment you take on that level of deep responsibility, victimhood just dissolves. You stop reacting and you start creating.
And that brings us to our 7th and final principle. This one is so important, and it goes way deeper than the name might suggest.
Yeah, this has absolutely zero to do with biology or a person's physical gender. We're talking about two fundamental energies that are necessary for any kind of creation. The masculine principle is that energy of action, direction, structure, the will to go out and do. The feminine principle is intuition, creativity, flow, the receptive space where new ideas are nurtured. For anything to be created, a business, a work of art, a relationship, you need both of these energies working together in harmony.
So, we've gone through all 7 of these ancient laws. And the big question is, okay, this is cool philosophy, but how does it fit into our modern scientific world? The answer, which is pretty amazing, is that it fits perfectly.
This isn't some isolated, mystical idea. You can hear its echoes everywhere. In Buddhism, which teaches that the mind precedes all things. In Stoicism, with its laser focus on mastering your inner world. In modern psychology, which is built on the idea that our beliefs literally create our behavior. And even in physics, when they talk about energy, vibration, and the weird, non-objective nature of reality. This is practical metaphysics.
So in the end, the Hermetic laws don't ask for your belief, they ask for your observation. When you start to actually see these patterns working in your own life, everything changes. Life stops feeling random and starts feeling meaningful. The universe goes from being this hostile, indifferent place to being a responsive partner in your own creation. You stop fighting against life and you start flowing with it. So the only question that really matters is this. Now that you've seen the patterns, what new reality will you consciously choose to create?